What's up, guys? Lars here, and I just want to do a quick tutorial on how to use one specific way to use Lars's rage drive without getting counter hit launched or hop kick for trying to go for it. And this is something I do a lot. It's like very incorporated into my playstyle. I don't think I've seen any other Lars player do this aside from myself or do it properly. And I just want to give awareness to Lars Nation out there that Lars can do this and it's very consistent. I would say it's oh, you could label it as a gimmick because you're basically going for a reset or just doing a mix up. But this is definitely viable when he has his rage drive, but I have to explain prior to the rage drive why this works and what sets the situation up for it. So basically, you if you do a combo of Lars, like say you launch the opponent, the only way to set up this type of situation is if you end your combo with dynamic entry 2. So one example of a combo would just be so in that situation he lands facing away on his stomach, and because of that excuse me, because of that, when he techs off the ground, he techs slower off the ground compared to when he's just laying on his back and facing you, or I mean laying on his back and just just like his feet are towards you. So like I have him set to hitting a wake up mid kick. But when they do a wake up mid kick and I do silent entry 2, they get launched for it. So because silent entry 2 is the slowest option out of silent entry, that means all other three options from silent entry also hit the opponent before they do a mashable button. So essentially it's a 50-50. It's a guaranteed 50-50 because if they just quick tech and block, they have to guess mid. They have to guess mid or low. There's no way out of it. There's just no way out of it. You just have to guess if you quick tech. The only way out of this whole situation is if you do a delayed side roll to the left, because silent entry 2 hits grounded, but it doesn't track to the left. It tracks to the right. So if you do a delayed side roll right, you're gonna get hit. If you lay on the ground, you get hit. But if you side roll left, you miss. It whiffs. So obviously it whiffed right there. Also, another thing to keep in mind, if you wake up backwards or you stand up, you're still going to get hit by all the silent entry options. So like if I just have him set them waking up backwards, because like he's facing away from you and he's on his stomach, so waking up backwards you can't block in that situation. Well, you can wake up fast enough to block the low, excuse me, but if I do the mid, then you can't block. So yeah, like you still get wall bounced. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And the reason why the rage drive comes into play is because Lars's rage drive comes from silent entry. It's basically a better silent entry 1 that gives you frame advantage also, like every other rage drive. So if I have so when you quick tech, you're basically stuck guessing between, do I want to eat the plus frames from the rage drive or do I want to block low? Because if you duck, you get launched by the rage drive. If you block mid, you still blocking the rage drive, which leads into more guesses because Lars has 7 possible follow-ups after the rage drive. And a quick example of that would be, I could just do this. He can sidestep cancel from dynamic entry after a rage drive. Just dynamic entry 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3, and 4. So that's 5 options there. And then specifically from Rage, he has his unblockable. So there's 7 possible options I could do there, which is a lot to keep in mind. I mean, most players, they don't even care about this because no one really labs Lars or these type of situations. I would say like 99% of the Tekken player base doesn't even know this is a thing, because I've never seen any other Lars player other than myself do this online or offline. I'm not, it's not like I'm trying to brag, but I just want to give more awareness to Lars players out there that they can do this and feel safe about it for most parts when they're doing when they have rage. So basically, because of that, dynamic entry 1, 2, and 1+2 frame trap after the opponent blocks the rage drive, and you can hop kick Lars if he goes for dynamic entry 3 or dynamic entry 4 and the rage drive out, and the unblockable obviously. But the the sidestep cancel is so good because it can bait out buttons, it can bait out rage hearts. It's so underratedly good. Um, so this just creates like 2 massive mind games from silent entry. It all starts from silent entry after you just end your combo with dynamic entry 2. So if you're the opponent and Lars ends his combo with dynamic entry 2, then they're most likely trying to set you up for a mix-up. So you're gonna have to just have that mental note that you're about to get mixed, and you just have to guess, or you could just lay on the ground and side roll left, do a delayed side roll left. But if the Lars players knows that you're just doing delayed side roll lefts, then I'm pretty sure he can just do dynamic entry 2 just to scoop you off the ground. I've never actually tested this, but we're gonna find out right now. Okay, yeah. So if you go for a delayed tech, dynamic entry 2 is too fast for you to do the delayed tech. So that's one thing you just have to keep in mind if you know that you can delay side roll left, and if the Lars player realizes that, they can just dynamic entry 2 your ass. There's also another variation to doing the rage drive setup, which just makes it seems like you're actually dropping your combo, which kind of seems like you're actually baiting the opponent. So for example, do I have everything set properly? So in this variation, all you're doing, instead of doing dynamic entry 2, you have to end your combo with down forward 3 into dynamic entry, but not silent entry. Well, yeah, that's essentially what you're doing. The only difference is that when you do the silent entry transition, you kind of have to delay it a little bit, because if you do it too fast, Lars just blows by the opponent and you just completely whiff. But if you delay the silent entry into the rage drive, he realigns with the opponent's side tech, so then they're just stuck guessing again. If they mash a button, they get launched. They could lay on the ground because you're stuck committing to the silent entry the silent entry rage drive in that situation. I mean, a lot of times when I do it in that situation, I'm going for the rage drive. So I'm committing to that. So an example would be, say they just lay on the ground. So if I end my combo like this, then you whiff, obviously. So the opponent sees that you whiff. In their head, they're like, okay, let me mash a button since they just whiffed their rage drive. But if they mash a button after seeing the whiff, I could just do dynamic entry 2 after the rage drive whiffs, and I'm probably still going to launch them because it's the counter hit launcher. And it hits grounded also. So if they lay on the ground and they say to themselves, alright, let me not get trigger happy, let me just eat the dynamic entry 2 and let me get off the ground. Lars can follow up with dynamic entry 3 after a dynamic entry 2, because Lars Dynamic Entry 3 realigns to the opponent on their quick tech. So basically, the common situation is that if the opponent's on the ground, this is just like any situation where the opponent's on the ground. When they're on the ground, Lars is most likely going to hit you with Dynamic Entry 2. So you hit them with Dynamic Entry 2. If they don't quick tech off the ground from that, I can just spam that the whole entire time until you actually do a quick tech. Because if you hit a wake up kick button, you're gonna get launched. If you do a delayed tech, you're gonna get hit and it flips you over again. So essentially, for me personally, I keep doing Dynamic Entry 2 until I have a feeling that my opponent's finally going to do a quick tech. And when the quick tech happens, they're stuck blocking again. It's +4, but it pushes the opponent away. But, I mean, plus frames is plus frames either way. But if they decide to quick tech and they're blocking low, then they're eating a plus frame wall splat. If it's on a wall stage, which is like 90% of the stages in the game. Outside of that, I think I mentioned everything. I'm trying to think if I missed anything with this specific tech. Overall, this is definitely a safer way to use his rage drive instead of just like being out in neutral and you're like, all right, it's not a lot of time left. I gotta do something. Let me go for the rage drive. But like if you're out here trying to do the rage drive, it's kind of like hard to do that because a good opponent will just blow you up before you can even throw it out. So if you get a combo, I mean, it's not hard to get a combo of Lars, but when you get a combo, just like try this out, see how you like it. I'm not saying, hey, you need to do this because it's good or something. I just want to let Lars players know that this is a thing, and if you like it, just like try adding it to your gameplay. It might help you out, it might not. One thing to keep in mind, I never go for the silent entry ender. I don't go for the silent entry mix up if I have life lead. This is mostly good when you're behind, because this is basically like Lars's comeback mechanic. I would say like this is his best comeback tool because they could either get hit by a rage drive, they could block a rage drive, and I could condition them not to press anything, and then they eat the rage drive unblockable. And the reason why the unblockable is so good is because Lars gets a full combo off it. I think this is the last thing I'm going to mention. If I did it correctly. So yeah, he gets a full combo off his rage drive version of the unblockable. So if you're the opponent, you do not want to get hit by the unblockable ever. There's plenty of time to react to it, but if you're being cautious against Lars's options, you're probably going to get hit by it eventually. And I've hit a lot of players online and offline with the unblockable, just because it's that surprise factor. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm in Discord. I'll just put my information in the bottom link. And as I always say, buff Lars.